Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Together Apart, Making the Most of the Holidays. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here and to especially welcome Claire Cammarata. She is the Deputy Director of New York City Employee Assistance Program. And my name is Ayana Mbonu. I am the Be Well Program Manager. Be Well is the mental health portion of WorkWell NYC, and we're happy to bring this information to you today. So before we get started, I just want to tell you just a little bit about WorkWell NYC. So our goal at WorkWell NYC is to create work sites that make it easier for our employees to live healthy, active lifestyles. We understand that health is not just the absence of disease, but health is physical, mental, financial, emotional, and we know that health exists on a spectrum. We're here for you with health and well-being resources, programs, and supports that help you move more, eat well, be well, and take action to prevent disease, no matter where you are on your health journey. So we love for you to keep in touch with us and learn about our programs. And so there's many ways to do that. So you can visit us at our website. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can shoot us a good old email, or you can join our mailing list. And so there's many ways to keep in touch. I will share with you in the chat section our mailing list link, and that's really important for you to make sure that you receive information at a moment's notice. So I will hand it over to Claire to get us started.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time today to join us. I see in the chat a few people are asking for louder. I hope this is loud enough. So I am kind of talking at my highest level. So we're going to review basically holiday self-care in these different aspects, how it relates to family and friends, traditions and rituals, finances, and then wellness and self-care. The self-care is really throughout the presentation today. And then we'll have a section at the end for questions and answers. And throughout the presentation, Ayana and I may ask you to share your thoughts in the chat. If you are inclined to, please do. If not, no worries. So let's get started. I was thinking this morning in preparation for this webinar, a little stressed out thinking, am I going to be sharing something new? Am I going to be teaching something? And I thought about it, and I think a lot of the things that we're sharing today may not be new for you. But it reminded me of a situation. I'm going to share a little story about myself, which was I developed some back issues at a young age, in my 20s. And once a year, roughly, it would get so bad where I can remember one time I couldn't actually get out of bed. I had to crawl to the bathroom, and I crawled to the phone. And I called my parents because I didn't know what to do. I live in a 5th floor walk up, so not being able to walk is not a good thing. So they came and they took me to an urgent care. And over the years, I just would suffer, and I'd take the right medication or go to physical therapy. And there was one year that my mom said to me, "Do you realize that your back goes out almost every December?" And I never put it together before. And she's right. And it has a lot to do with what we're talking about today. It's about the holiday stress, about juggling all these things that we try to take care of. Ourselves, our family, our obligations, the finances that are often involved in the holidays. We are already busy, and then in December or November even, we start adding things to all the things that we're trying to get done. So I think in relation to that story, I hope today can inspire some insight and reflection and just give you a moment to pause and think about these things in the same way I didn't think about the calendar in terms of my back pain, and that was very beneficial. It really taught me to engage the holidays in a different way. And then the last thing is that I think there's an external pressure often that we feel that this should be a magical, glorious, perfect time. You watch a Hallmark movie and you think your life should look like that, or a commercial. And that in itself can bring on a lot of stress of an expectation. So we'll talk about more about that as well. So again, we can't ignore that in addition to holiday stress, this holiday is in the midst of a pandemic, which adds even more stressors to our life. And for those of you who may have lost a loved one, my condolences to you and to your family. And I want to acknowledge that it may make this a more painful time. Oftentimes people who suffered a loss feel it even more so at the holidays. There was a small book published called The Empty Chair, and it's that the holidays sometimes put it in your face, the absence of that person. So the pain can be a little bit greater around this time of year. And the financial concerns that may be brought on by this pandemic, whether it be furlough days or the unknown of what's to come in terms of jobs and finances. And then the loss of what you've done in previous years, right? What you did last year probably isn't doable this year, or you won't engage in those same activities for your own safety and health and that of others. And a lot of people may feel more isolated, unable to be with family and friends in a way that they're used to being. So all of these things just compound the stress that you might be feeling at this time. And yes, mom power rules again, as someone noted in the chat. Right on.
Alrighty, so we'd like to get the temperature of our virtual room. So please take a moment and share which of the following items listed here about the holiday season gives you the most stress or anxiety? Is it being away from your families and friends? Is it financial stressors? Are you anticipating awkward family conversations? Are you anticipating temptations to overindulge in something? Or is it the holiday traditions that are not going to be the same this year? So just give you a moment to all answer, and then we will move on. Alrighty. Okay, so it seems like family and friends being far away is a large concern, and coming second, the traditions. And these are really important factors. Thanks for sharing, and alrighty. So let's dive on in and talk more about family and friends. Alrighty, so if you're feeling isolated or lonely during this time, you're normal. These are actually very valid emotions that you're having, and I encourage you to be creative in your ideas to connect with others. Not all connections have to be done in person. Spending time with family and friends via the telephone, text messaging, emails, and video chats can, be very gratifying. Communicating at a distance really is a way to foster relationships and can be just as gratifying as in person. And so some suggestions that we have today is host a virtual celebration or even an outdoor gathering. I know that may be challenging with the impending snowstorm that we have coming, but perhaps it won't still be here next week. And perhaps you can take a nice walk outside after your holiday celebration, or meet up with a neighbor and take a walk outside or play a game. So just, and just encourage you to think outside the box in order to have a great time. Lots of organizations in our communities are doing really great work, and you may find one in your community where you can volunteer and work towards a good cause to give back to others. And you can also look online. There's actually quite a lot of things online where you can find like-minded people to join in on some sort of virtual experience. And so if you have a special interest, a special hobby, there's always places online where you can join in. So Eventbrite or a Meetup are really great sources for creative information like that. And so what are some of the ideas for ways that you connect with loved ones? You can share in the chat section. It looks like someone says throwing snowballs is a great idea. Absolutely. Take advantage of this nor'easter that's coming. And volunteering is good as well. There's lots of needy people right now. And if you are in the position to give your time, then I'm sure it would be greatly appreciated. Absolutely. Calls and FaceTime, Zoom meetings, especially when you choose to have the Zoom meeting, right? Absolutely. All right, next slide. All righty. So too close for comfort. I don't know if you all remember George Burns, but I remember watching his black and white shows on television when I was a kid. He said that happiness is having a large, loving, caring, and close-knit family in another city. So this joke may resonate with you. It may not. Um, but sometimes family and friends, those conversations and gatherings can be a bit stressful. But family is different for everyone, so we have to understand that. And having a plan for managing a stressful conflict could be very helpful to you. So if there's someone on your Zoom meeting that or your Zoom gathering that may bring up a topic that's uncomfortable, have an excuse plan so that you can leave the meeting early or the Zoom very early, because you know that you don't want to have that conversation. Um, in the spirit of the holidays, you may decide to focus on gratitude about your family members and set aside your differences at this time, just to be happy around this time. Setting boundaries is important too. I say make happiness a priority right now, and know that you know what you will condone and what you won't condone. So just having those boundaries and knowing that your wellness is most important, your happiness is important. Um, you can end unwanted conversations by having a topic that you know that everyone would like to join in on, and just change your topic really quickly and easily if a topic that comes up that's uncomfortable to have. Just be prepared. The plan to interject and change it to something that you think that everyone would like to join in on a conversation, as opposed to having that difficult one. And we can try a loving and kindness meditation if all else fails. This is a great tool to help you be well and be able to manage your conversations and experiences with your family. So what are some suggestions that you have for dealing with stressful situations with loved ones? So yeah, so some people say just say no. That works too. Absolutely. Um, and we are going to share with you at the follow-up email with all registrants the recording of this and a loving kindness handout so that you'll have the instructions. But on the next slide, we'll just go over it really briefly, the loving kindness uh, meditation and how it goes. Alrighty. So loving kindness meditation, it takes not, it's not a very long meditation. It's a way to cultivate love and kindness for yourself and for others. And it's typically practiced in 5 stages by silently repeating a series of mantras. Those mantras are, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, and may I live with ease. And so you repeat those phrases each time when you are focusing on a loved one, a neutral person, a person you have a conflict with, and then all beings everywhere, wishing the world, may they be safe, may they be happy, and may they be healthy. And like I said, we will share this handout with you so that you can practice it at your leisure throughout the holiday season.
So the poll showed earlier on that family and friends and traditions and rituals were at the highest percentage, right, in terms of stress. So yeah, just applause to Ayana for putting it in this order, because we didn't know the answers to that poll, and it's perfect. So yeah, traditions and rituals can actually be adding to our stress right now because of our inability to carry them out. So I want you to do something right now, which is to think about either a tradition or ritual or something that you're used to doing every year around the holidays, and then think about why. Why do you do them? What is it really about? What's the meaning behind it? If you want to share in the chat, feel free. So I engaged in this exercise myself, and I immediately went to food. I thought about baking, how around this time of year, baking is a big ritual for me and tradition. And I come from a fairly large family, so we would share all that baking. And I know in previous years, I'd be cooking, baking ridiculous amounts of cookies and cakes and things like that, so much so that my back would hurt. And I'm like, why am I doing this, right? So if I think about why do I do it? I think personally, I do it because I love the smell it creates in my home, the warmth it generates. And then it's a treat to eat these desserts and cookies and cakes that I only really engage in once a year. So if I keep my focus on the meaning, it can help me to keep things in balance. I don't need to cook and bake a ton this year. I don't even know if it makes sense to share baked goods right now in terms of health. But so to keep the meaning at the forefront, don't keep the activity at the forefront, and so that you can create a bit more balance. In regards to experiencing loss and maybe grieving the loss of a loved one during this time, and maybe your traditions really tie to that individual. I just want to sort of give you permission to not carry out that tradition if it doesn't feel right, or to create it in a new version so that it's filled with something meaningful rather than something too painful. Something that you might want to do is to look at photos, whether it's a photo album or videos online, and to reminisce and to look pleasantly and joyfully on the life that you had with that person when they were here. So those are just some things to keep in mind when you're looking to carry on traditions moving forward. And like many of the things that we're highlighting in this presentation is to be really open to something new. And sometimes it's hard to be creative. I know that it is for me at times. My sister typically comes to New York City around Christmas time to visit me. Her son and his girlfriend do the same, and they're such wonderful visits each year. We can't do that this year. So she did a Zoom call, which isn't very creative. That's what we're all doing, right? But she created a trivia game. And so we all logged in and did this trivia game, and it was all holiday related. And I'll share with you because I thought these were brilliant. One of her topics was, which is the true Yankee Candle scent? And so she'd have all the different ones, one that she would make up. And so you had to choose which one was the correct scent. Another was, what is a true plot of a Hallmark movie? So she did some creative writing of different plots. So again, just kind of open your mind to be creative and try something new. And I haven't had a chance to look at the chat. It looks kind of busy, but I'm wondering if anyone is sharing how they've tailored or edited or created some new traditions of their own.
Yes, Claire, lots of people bake cookies, viewing family videos, cooking together. I can tell you for me, food is a big thing as well. And we this year are sharing recipes. We have a virtual cookbook that's circulating between our family. So lots of people have really great ideas here.
Yeah, I saw someone said to take a picture of what you've baked, like a pie, and then you could have a contest of whose pie looks best. And then someone just wrote, which I love, reminding myself the possibility that staying home this year will allow us to be together physically in the future. Yes, perfectly put. Awesome. All right, moving on to other stressors. Finances. So this time of year, again, can take a toll on our finances. We oftentimes put a lot on ourselves in terms of what we think we should be doing, how many gifts we should be getting. And, sometimes we don't keep a budget in mind, and that can cause more stress and more problems down the road. So, really, it's important. I'm sure you've heard this before, but planning a budget can be very, very helpful. And I'll encourage you to go one step further. You might do a budget in your head and think, all right, I have this much in the bank right now, and I can afford to buy this, this, and this. But if it stays in your head, it won't be as helpful to you as if you write it down in comparison to that. So writing it down makes it solid. It's really makes it much easier for you to follow it over time and to be much more realistic about what you can afford without adding too much stress to your life. And for some, it might be the restriction on travel might actually cause you to save some money this year. And if that's the case, maybe give it some thought as to what you want to do to treat yourself. Um, Maybe something you haven't done in past holiday seasons, but giving to yourself is just as, if not more important than giving to others. And don't underestimate things that don't involve money, which is a phone call or a handwritten card to tell someone how meaningful they are to you and how much you care about them. So I love the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray, and at the end, he talks about like this spirit that we feel around this time of year. How come we don't carry it throughout the rest of the year? To be thoughtful and kind and giving. So to keep that in mind, that you could start now and continue it onwards. So are people sharing some no or low cost gift ideas? Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Looks like.
Holiday headbands.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So.
Sharing photos. Oh, that's awesome. I know my cousin, she and I are just a year apart. We grew up together. And once in a while, she'll find a picture and just text it to me, and it just makes my day. It just cracks me up. So that's great. Groupon gifts. Wow, someone made doll clothes for their grandkids instead of buying clothes. Awesome.
At Christmas karaoke. That's going to be a lot of fun, huh?
And I've just recently learned, I haven't tried it myself, but I heard that there are apps online for karaoke, and then you can have your friends and family kind of jump in with you. So baking cookies, my
Yeah.
favorite thing. Absolutely. And reminding yourself that you can freeze them, most cookies and cakes you can freeze, so that you don't have to overindulge.
Mhm. These
Awesome.
are these are really great ideas. All righty. So, wellness and self-care. So, healthy habits. We all know the healthy habits we should have. And then good practices any time of the year. And, one thing we want to just express is that, make your health a priority during this holiday season. So, like we always know, drink water, stay hydrated, eat a variety of foods. I've always I always remember to make sure that my plate looks like the rainbow. Having variety of colors, right? This time of season, we have like butternut squashes. That's a bright color. But when we also have the greens, I love collard greens, and so those things are really healthy to make sure that you consume those healthy things so that you can have those things that aren't as healthy for you, that may be high in fat or in sugar, but having them in moderation. So if you have the majority of your meal with those healthy things, then you can find a room to have those things that you'd like to have, that taste good and remind you of the holidays, right? Take time for physical activity, even if you're only getting outside for 5 to 10 minutes, a walk. Like I said, join in with your neighbors, take a walk around the block, have a snowball fight, but get outside, get some fresh air in those lungs, and get some exercise. That's really important. To have some type of physical activity during the day. I know that we normally celebrate the holidays with a family that's a neighbor across the street. So we plan on having a little football game. So think outside the box and still enjoy each other. Um, Getting enough sleep, that's a really important thing. With the holidays and work and everything that we're doing, we may say, oh, well, we'll just stay up late, but really getting those 7 or 8 hours of sleep is really crucial right now. When our body is resting, it's regenerating, right? And so it's important to get those 7 to 8 hours of sleep, even though it's the holidays and may have a little extra time. And of course, take time for yourself, say no. I'm not sure who was it that said it in the chat earlier, but no is okay. You can say no. And if you feel overwhelmed, just say, have those boundaries and say no if you think that's what you need. And saying no is making sure that you make yourself the priority right now. Okay. Next slide. So mindfulness is a healthy habit that will help us, especially during this season. It'll help us to make sure that we are actually here and enjoying the time that we have with the people around us. Mindfulness helps us to be fully present and aware of where we are and what we're doing, and not be overly reactive or overwhelmed with what is happening around us. So we have a really easy and quick way to remember being mindful, and it's SNACK. The acronym is SNACK. So it's not related to food, but it's a really easy way to remember how to help ourselves. So S stands for stop, and stop what you're doing in the moment, right? Just stop. And I say, look around the room. Just take in what you're hearing and take in what you're seeing. I'm in my dining room. The kitchen is right there. If you could hear this, my family's wondering, should they walk through right now? And they've chosen not to, so I'm really happy about that. So the next acronym stands for notice. What is happening for you on the inside and the outside, right? Just be aware of the feelings that you're having, what's coming up for you. Perhaps what's around you is related to what's coming up for you. So we want you to just really notice that. And A stands for accept. Accept what's currently happening without judgment. We have lots of thoughts that come in our minds. And I think it's important to really just accept it. We are human, things are going to happen. And we don't need to judge it. We can just say, okay, well, it's here. I like it, I don't like it, but it's here. And just accept it for who it is and don't judge yourself because of it. And curiosity, C stands for be curious, investigate what you're feeling, what might be the need for this moment. So like, why is this happening? Why am I having these thoughts? Just be curious about it. And most of all, I think the best thing to think about is being kind. Offer kindness to yourself, offer compassion to yourself. Say, this is a stressful time. Help yourself to understand that you're normal, the feelings you're having are normal, and just offer yourself kindness. So I think snack is a really helpful way to remember that we want to enjoy this time. We're going to be in the moment. We're not going to judge ourselves, and overall, we're going to be kind to ourselves. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. Next slide. Alrighty. And so another way that we can kind of help ourselves in the moment is to use the box breathing exercise. And so it's a really easy exercise. And it's basically you settle into a relaxed position, inhale for 4 counts, you hold your breath for 4 counts, and you exhale for 4 counts. And then you just repeat as needed. But what's really important about this exercise is that we suggest 4, but if 4 doesn't work for you, if 3 inhales or holding the breath or exhaling for 3 works for you, works best, then that's what you do. And then you gradually build up to 4. So if you can only breathe in for 1 and hold for 1, what's important to remember is doing the exercise. This exercise helps to ground you and help you to focus on what is actually happening around you and just kind of, take stock in what you're feeling at the moment. So box breathing is a real easy exercise that you can do at any time. Doesn't take any special training around it, but it's a way for you to kind of just ground yourself. I wonder what other people do to kind of ground themselves and get them back into the moment they feel overwhelmed. You can share in the chat section what you all do to help yourselves in the moment. Alrighty, well, I know that box breathing is something that I do. It's a really handy and easy way for me to just kind of like stop and just breathe and take in what's happening. So I hope that's helpful to you. Alrighty. Some people blink their eyes. Some people pray. That's really great. Guided meditation every night. And I hope you are taking advantage of the WorkWell monthly calendar, because there's lots of opportunities for meditation throughout the day, and breathing and stretching. Well, thank you for sharing what you all do. Alrighty. So let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is something that is an easy thing that we can do and is really very beneficial to us. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their life. We have, it's December of 2020. This is a year for the history books. We are New York strong. We have gotten to this point. We are doing we are here, we are well. And so this is something to be really grateful for and to be happy about. And the gratitude is really strongly, that helps us to be strong and consistently is associated with, greater happiness. Gratitude helps us to feel more positive emotions, relish in our good experiences. It helps to improve our health. It helps us to deal with adversities and build strong relationships. So some suggested ways that you can show some gratitude is to write a thank you note or email, or even silently give thanks for someone. And these are easy ways that you can just show gratitude to the people who are important in your lives. Perhaps keeping a gratitude journal. This is something that I like to do. It helps me to start my day out, helps me to stay focused and positive throughout the day. And suggested is to write down 3 things that you're grateful for daily. It could be something that you do in your telephone. You can actually have a journal and do it. But also appreciating yourself, standing in front of the mirror and speaking out loud 3 or 5 things. Could be very motivating for you, could help you to smile and stay focused throughout the day, to know that you're strong and that you are capable and able. What are some things that
I'm getting a lot of gratitude. It's great.
you're
Grateful.
grateful for? It sounds like you're grateful for family. Mm-hmm.
Having my job and a paycheck.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. And painting, some listen to music, some read, some meditate. Yeah. And grateful for a healthy life. Yeah.
I
These
want
are
to say
all.
something about gratitude because I think sometimes it gets misused so that if someone is in pain and someone in response to that person says, oh, but you have this and you have that, I think, to keep in mind, gratitude is not to negate whatever you're struggling with in your life, but to recognize that they're all there at the same time. So we don't want you to think of gratitude as this giant eraser that can take away stress or sadness or loneliness or pain. It's just that with the sadness and loneliness, to scan around and see what, in addition to those painful experiences you might be having, what you hold dear and cherish and feel grateful for. So I just want to kind of highlight that point.
Thank you, Claire. I think that was really important um, to share, because I totally agree that lots of people are. This is a very tough time for people, and we want to make sure that we don't negate that. We don't ignore that. We want to make sure we highlight that. We understand that this is a tough time for a lot of people. So thank you for that. All righty then. So I think I'm going to hand it back over to you, Claire.
Okay, so we're just going to touch upon all the things we discussed today. And again, one of the main points is to recognize that this can be a very difficult time for many people. And if it's not for you, that is wonderful. But I think it also helps to keep in mind it could be for other people. And that because of the pandemic, we are really at a place where it's necessary to be flexible and to try to tap into our creativity and to find new ways to feel connected with our loved ones at this time. We talked about boundary setting with family and friends, really keeping your focus on your own self-care and best interest, about doing something different and new and creative in terms of holiday traditions with family and friends, and to keep your focus on the meaning of those traditions to help you create some new ones, and to promote financial wellness. We talked about things to do to maybe save some money, and also a suggestion to budget your money and to engage in writing that budget down. And then Ayana went through a lot of different habits that you could adopt to promote your own self-care. The SNACK acronym sounds, I was looking at the chat while you were talking, it seemed like a lot of people appreciated that. And this information will definitely be available after the webinar. So I know a lot of people were asking about that as well. And so, maybe a loving kindness meditation isn't your thing, or maybe box breathing isn't your thing, but hopefully one thing, you leave this webinar with one idea in mind that you'd be open to trying out. And we both want to encourage all of you to make these holidays what you want them to be, and to really free yourself from the idea of what they should be. And I think that brings it all together. So we have some more information to share with you about different programs and services, but we do want to thank you. We know time is precious. We know it's not easy to break away from your work and your family obligations and all of that to sign in and join this webinar. So thank you very much for doing that. And if there's any questions, you can throw them in the chat and we'll try our best to answer them.
So we have a few questions about the WorkWell monthly calendar. And so I'm going to add the link in the chat section, and people can just click on the link and they'll receive the WorkWell calendar. And I know that there's some questions about the PowerPoint presentation. Everyone registered, whether or not they attended the live event, will receive a recording, the recording of this video that they can share widely. And you'll receive some handouts that we have that will just sum up everything that we've talked about today, as well as the loving kindness meditation. Other things that people asking. Okay. And someone wanted to do an actual meditation to help relax. I'm not sure that we have enough time to do that, but I do welcome you to just do the box breathing for yourself. And the flyer for snack, you'll receive the recording, so you can definitely take a look at the notes of the snack. We will provide that information in the follow-up email as well. And any other questions related to the holidays that anyone might have? Yes. Thank you, Cynthia. There is a 1 p.m. meditation available. So if you want to join in, quickly join in, you're happy to do so. And how to cope with financial hardships. Financial hardships, that's a real thing. And so I know in my family, what we did is we just did a Secret Santa. So that everyone doesn't have to give everyone gifts, and we put a dollar amount on it. And so that's what we've done in our family, just being conscious that, this is a difficult time this year. But homemade gifts is a great way to share. If you have a particular talent, perhaps I'm sure everyone in your family appreciates that talent, and perhaps you can share that talent with gifts to your family. Claire, do you have any other ideas for coping with financial hardships during this
Yeah,
time?
I was thinking that if it's a broader concern and not specifically related to the holidays, I'm jumping ahead, but we were going to talk about different programs. But I did want to say that the EAP is available for anyone who wants to maybe hone in and discuss their own personal experience right now, because we presented some general ideas, but everyone's situation is different. So we have counselors available that you can speak with and hash out what you're going through, whether it's financial, whether it's more, about your well-being, your state of mind, your health, all of these kinds of things. And that a counselor is a great sounding board and a support that could possibly help you to generate ways to address hardship or come up with creative traditions and any of the other things that we discussed today.
All righty. Well, thank you, Claire. I think the EAP is a wonderful resource. Um, and I encourage people just to give EAP a call. They have hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday.
7 p.m.
Huh?
8 a.m. to 7
Oh,
p.m.
sorry.
That's all right.
7 p.m.? Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
All
do
right.
have some ongoing groups that are at 8 p.m. in the evenings on the weeknights. And what's today? Today's Wednesday. So tonight, Ian offers a group at 8 p.m. for people who want to discuss grief and loss. And then Friday, we have one that focuses on resiliency. Monday is relaxation. And Tuesday is a support group for people of color. So all of that is on the website.
Great. Thanks, Claire. So let's just move on really quickly. And I want to introduce you to the Let's Talk campaign. Hopefully this is not a new introduction. Hopefully you've heard about the Let's Talk campaign before. And it's our campaign, it's WorkWell NYC's campaign to combat mental health stigma in the workplace. So I'm not sure if you know, but 1 in 5 New Yorkers experience a mental health challenge each year. And throughout the pandemic, I'm sure this year it's probably 1 in 4 New Yorkers. And when we talk about a mental health challenge, we're not talking about a diagnosable mental illness. We're talking about a huge stressor. And the pandemic is a perfect example of that. And so if you pledge your support to the Let's Talk campaign, you are recognizing that mental health is an important component of your overall health. You're making mental health a priority in the workplace, and you're pledging to reach out to support your colleagues. And so what that means for us is that we will be reaching out to you, providing you with more resources to help you do the work that you do, inviting you to these type of webinars, and just giving you a much more support to do the work that you do. And so we would love for you to join the pledge. And so I will put that link here in the chat section. So if you choose to join, please do. All righty. And so I'll hand it over to Claire to just give one more shout out to EAP.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm afraid our phone number is written wrong on this. I think it might be. I haven't used that phone number in a while, so I apologize about that. But if you go to the website, which is at nyc.gov/EAP, that's there. And our email, which is a great way to reach our staff and our counselors, is eap@olr.nyc.gov. And so we have counselors available. If you email us, we have admin staff forwarding those emails to counselors. So you'll hear back from us very, very soon. And it's not just for you, but it's for your family members as well. So to keep that in mind. And yeah, we have a lot going on. So we have individual, we have group services, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Sometimes we have groups within an agency for staff within that agency. We can help supervisors and supporting them with consultations if they're struggling with how to manage some issues at work or with employees. So don't hesitate to reach out and call. And if we're not the right person to help you out, we can make sure to connect you to who is. And am I right? That is the wrong number?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just put the correct one in the chat section. My apologies. We instead of 307, it's 306.
Thanks, Ayana. I thought it looked weird, but then I was like, maybe that is the number.
All righty. So New York City Well is a wonderful resource. It's a free and confidential resource, and it's available for everyone who lives in New York City. And I think what's really one interesting part about New York City Well is that you can text them. Sometimes people are living in close quarters or don't have privacy in their home. And so if you're feeling a little stressed and you want to talk to someone, you can just text them, and they will be right there to answer. And they're offering chat services in a variety of languages. So you can share this information with anyone that you know that might be struggling and may need help right now. They also have on their website a great list of different apps that people can download to help them with meditation and mindfulness and all the things that we talked about today. Please check in with New York City Well if you think you need to, or share it. And health benefits program, as city employees, we do have health insurance, and it's a really great insurance, I think, for the most part. And so New York City insurance plans cover our mental health services. So if you have any particular questions about your mental health benefits, you can contact the health benefits program, and this is how you can do it. Alrighty, and Be Well, that's who we are. We brought this information to you today, and hopefully it was really helpful to you. And so We are an educational resource and wellness programming for all of you. We are dedicated to helping employees manage stress and develop resilience. And so this is how you can contact us. And if you have any questions, if you would like this type of programming to come to your agency, feel free to just reach out to us, shoot us an email, and we'd love to have a conversation to see how we can continue to provide services to you. And lastly, we have a really interesting event that's going on now, program that's going on now. It's Art is Life. Art is Life is our virtual exhibit, and it's open. So please get online and vote. So Art is Life is a digital gallery showcase. It reflects the events of 2020 through the eyes of city employees. And so I think this is a really creative way for people to show how they are thriving during this time. And so we have several different types of submissions, and they're all city employees. So there's performing arts, there's literary works, people are doing spoken word, there's actually paintings, all sorts of things. So we want you to really, we want to encourage you to visit the Padlet and vote. What do you think is best? These are all your coworkers. So log on and see if you know someone there, and vote on their work. This is a really great opportunity to just connect with others and see the wonderful talent that is among us. All righty, and I think that's it we have for today. We want to wish you all best wishes for a safe and happy holiday, whatever holiday you are celebrating this year. We hope that you have wonderful time with your family and your friends. Thank you, Claire, for joining us.
Thank you, and thank all of you for joining. And I really wish you the best, and be safe, and reach out if there's something we can help you with.
Absolutely. Likewise, reach out to us as well. We'd love to be able to help you through everything and have a good time this year. Alrighty, so enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and bye-bye.
Bye, Yana.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Claire.